Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Sneakerhead of NY, and you are listening to Nights at the Round Table. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It ain't been this long. It's been a while, but not as long as it usually is. Let me adjust my seating. Not as long as it usually is because I recently graduated college. Again. Yes, so now that I'm done with school for now, I can focus so much more on the podcast, and this episode is amazing. Now, everybody knows that back in the day, I used to always do episodes, like evergreen episodes. It would be episodes that would be who was the best 90s small forward. Well, I can't even do that yet, so we gotta do that soon. But what was the best 90s shooting guard, or who would win, the USA team of Dream Team or the, whichever. So over 400 episodes. Thank you guys for rocking with us. But just continue to support the channel. We got a lot of things coming up this year. I got a special episode for you guys before the start of season 5. That's not until September, but I got a very special episode in which I spoke about it before. It's supposed to be the interviews that I conducted during WrestleMania 40 weekend in Philly. So I'm finally getting around to chopping up that footage so I can, put it out there for you guys. And yeah, we're gonna go from there. Like, it's gonna be so dope, and it's a great episode. So we'll get to that really, really soon. It's interviews not of any celebrity, but it's interviews of people that were there just like me, spectators, big wrestling fans, sports fans, and just, enjoying the pageantry of WrestleMania. So we'll get into that. I know Mania was a few months ago, April to be exact, but April, May, June, 2 months ago. Only 2 pay-per-views happened in between that time, so I'm not too far off. But yeah, let's just get into some patch starts real quick. So, don't know if you heard, I think it was Thursday or Friday, Gilbert Arenas, actually I saw it yesterday. Gilbert Arenas said that Steph Curry isn't a generational talent. Like, what? Like, shout out to Cake, man. Like, anytime I talk about Gilbert Arenas, it's the Cake, and he knows that I'm not a fan of Gilbert Arenas. He has some of the worst takes in all of podcasting and radio and all of that. But for this man to say that Steph Curry is not a generational talent, that is beyond foolish. Like, I'm not even understanding how you can say that Steph Curry isn't a generational talent. And he said because generational talent is those who cannot be mimicked. Okay, Trae Young, Dame Lillard, they shoot the three just like Steph, but Steph revolutionized the game in which everybody is doing that. Nobody was pulling up from the half with nine minutes left in the fourth quarter or in the first quarter or any time of the quarter. No one was pulling up from the half regularly. So granted, he may think that the shooting can be mimicked, but without Steph, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing right now, in which every little kid is out there trying to put up shots. Before Steph, people were trying to be like Kobe, shooting into the garbage can saying, Kobe, God rest Kobe's soul. No one ever wanted to be like, I want to play like LeBron. Nobody wanted to play bully ball. But people started loving the finesse game of Steph Curry and started shooting the three. So for Gilbert Arenas to say that Steph wasn't generational, I don't know what this man is talking about. This man is on something. Whatever it is, I don't want it. By the way, I'm looking to the side. All those that's watching on YouTube, I'm looking on the side. This is the most well-structured episode I've done in a very long time. So I'm looking at the iPad to the left of me of everything that I have, like section by section of patch thoughts. So the Negro League, MLB has incorporated the Negro League stats. Now, a lot of people are a fan of it, and obviously a lot of people are not a fan of it, because now it gives you a different leader in the batting averages and a bunch of other different stats that used to be held by someone else. It is now held by someone else. And I'm not going to get into the race thing as much as we know that it could be, because a lot of people know that. Let me see. Josh Gibson is now the leader in batting average. Let me just confirm that really quickly. So yes, Josh Gibson is now the new MLB leader in batting average. And a lot of people saying because he didn't have he didn't have at least 2,500 batting attempts or at bats that he shouldn't qualify. So even though he played a shortened career rather, people are up in arms saying that he should be the batting average stat leader, and amongst other stats, he is now the leader of as well, and other Negro League players are now part of that stat. Now the leaders of that stat rather. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. Like, I'm fine with it. I don't care. I'm a baseball purist. If all those who are following the show know that I love me some baseball. Baseball is my number one sport. Is it still? Yeah, baseball is still my number one sport, and I don't see anything wrong with it. Obviously, I'm an African American male, so obviously Negro League stats aren't a big woo to me. I know about the Negro Leagues. Listen, a little quick story. When I used to play softball back in elementary school, we were a part of a team. I was a part of a league that the team names came from the Negro Leagues. And I was part of the Pittsburgh Crawfords, and we won the championship. I didn't play the next year. We were one and done. We won that championship. We like, nah, we ain't doing this no more. But yeah, so I'm all for it. I'm all for the Negro League stats being added to the MLB stats because it's baseball. Now, somebody made a good point. Should Ichiro's stats from Japan count for him here in MLB? And I want to say no, because the Negro Leagues played in the United States, and obviously the Japanese League is in the Japanese League. And the reason why Negro League stats are added to MLB is because, let's face it, African American players were not invited to play in Major League Baseball. Obviously, the first person to play a Major League Baseball game of African American descent is Jackie Robinson. So I'm not going to give you a full history lesson, but again, I'm for it. I see nothing wrong with it, but that's for obvious reasons. New York Yankees are on one right now, people. They're beating up on San Francisco. Aaron Judge homered twice yesterday. The man is on one. What can I say? What more can I say? That was horrible. I'm never doing that again. But yeah, he's on one right now. He's on a tear. Yankees are on a tear. We went 21-7 in the month of May, which is the best record of all of baseball in 1 month, which is in the month of May. Now we're into June, and we're going to see. We're going to see if we're still going to continue that hot streak, and especially see if Judge are able to continue on his hot streak. I feel like the Yankees have a good shot to make it to the World Series this year and possibly win it all. We're still waiting for Garrett Cole to come back, but once he comes back, it's a wrap. DJ LeMahieu's back. Volpe is killing. Again, Judge, Soto, Stanton is playing well. Rizzo's playing great at first base. So I don't think we need to make any moves. Vladdy is on the table, is on the trade blocks, I heard, from Toronto. He's playing third base today for the first time since 2019. So that's about 5 years. But would it be nice to get a player like him? Maybe, but if we have to give up too much to get him, I'm not a fan of it. I'm hoping that Juan Soto re-signs with us starting next year, because he is at the final years of his contract. He's on his final year of his contract, rather, and I hope he can re-sign with us. And at first he was going to, but Scott Boras is his agent, so Scott Boras probably was in his ear like, yo, chill, don't say you're going to re-sign with the Yankees. But we're going to look at other things and, X, Y, and Z. But, let's just hope that he re-signs with us and we go from there. The AJ Styles promo from Friday night, man, it was great, but I feel like they could have done it better. They should have done it better. I feel like you knew that the swerve was coming once he brought out Cody Rhodes. And I feel like he should have retired, and then on the next episode of SmackDown or something like that, then he hits you with he comes out in all black and, disrupts the Cody match and then attacks him. Because you knew it was coming. It was too early reminiscent of the Mark Henry promo. And also realist, we all know that AJ Styles signed a contract recently, so we knew that he wasn't retiring. Like, yeah, people breach contract and they retire and X, Y, and Z, but we all knew that he was not retiring. Mark Henry came out with the salmon-colored suit, a little salmon-colored jacket. AJ Styles had on the light powder blue, North Carolina blue. Brought out Cody Rhodes. They said what they said. The build-up was so trash because the way that they was raising each other's arms in the ring, it just felt fake and it felt forced. It wasn't natural to me. Like, I'm seeing them raising their hands, and hopefully I can have a good enough clip to show you guys on the YouTube, and I won't get copywritten. But the way he was just raising his hands up, it was just like, yo, it looked and felt forced. So I was just like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I could rock with this one, but it is what it is. It was fire promo. It was a fire ass promo, but just the execution of it was just, we knew what was happening. Somebody even yelled in the crowd when I was watching, Mark Henry, and I was like, yeah, this is too eerily reminiscent of that whole Mark Henry swerve on John Cena, in which he had to face him in the next pay-per-view. But, you know, they the dirt sheets and BR Bleacher Report, they praise it, Triple H, for doing that. So it was cool. It was good, but again, I just felt like executing it differently would have been dope. Like, give him like maybe a week or two off of the show, that he just come back and just does something to get at Cody. But you know, it is what it is. Sad note, not sad. I don't want to misconstrue this as anything like sad. But as a sports fan, I am upset that my New York Rangers lost to the Carolina Panthers last night. The score was 2-1, if I'm not mistaken, or 3-2, if I'm not mistaken. But I think it was 2-1. And Carolina won the series 4-2. We had a good year, man. I really thought the Rangers was gonna pull it off. My boy Laffy did his thing. Lafreniere, he did his thing this year. We had a lot of great moments this year, and I'm very proud of my boys. I'm a huge Rangers fan. If you do not know, people clown me for not loving New York teams, but I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a Rangers fan. I'm a Jets fan. What more do you want from me? Just because I like the Knicks? What more do you want from me? But yeah, my Rangers, man, they did their thing this year, man. And, you know, hopefully the Edmonton Oilers, my boy Connor McDavid, they can beat the Stars, and they will go on to the Stanley Cup and hopefully beat the Carolina Panthers for the Stanley Cup, because Florida Panthers, I said Carolina Panthers, man. The Florida Panthers, hopefully they can beat them, and we could, you know, Connor McDavid could etch his name in history as being one of the greatest hockey players of all time. So this is what I'm waiting for. He's amazing already, but that Stanley Cup is what's needed, and hopefully the Oilers beat up on the Stars, and then they eventually go on to win the Stanley Cup. Real Madrid wins the UEFA Champions League. They beat Dortmund yesterday afternoon. I was watching it in the barbershop. You know, I was watching it in the barbershop, then I went to my coffee shop that I usually go to, watch a bit of it there. So I was back and forth between the two just to watch my team win. But also a real retirement, Toni Kroos retired. We all know they used to play for Bayern Munich. And then, well, if you don't know, he used to play for Bayern Munich, the German team. He is German. Then he came over to the Real Madrid team, I want to say in 2018 or thereabout, maybe even sooner than that. But he came over, played so well for us, and he was an integral part of us winning yesterday's game. And, you know, hats off to Toni Kroos for an amazing career. Who knows, maybe he comes over to the MLS like a lot of players do that play overseas, and, you know, following the steps of David Beckham and all the other players. The MLS is going to be dope this year too. I'm definitely going to go a few games this year. This summer I'm trying to hit up everything, baseball and any games I can see. Maybe even go over to West 4th Street and watch people play ball there, and, you know, just embrace the whole summer vibe of just sports and just New York City. So yeah, Past Thoughts is done. This was a very long Past Thoughts. Like I said, this was the first time that I've actually structured an episode bit by bit, piece by piece, because I've been so busy with school and other things. And again, I'm out for now. About to go in for my master's soon, but until then, we get a word from our sponsor, and I will catch you guys in a few. All right, welcome back. Shout out to our sponsor. Also, shout out to the Lexus King, Brian Pillman Jr. Now, really quickly, today's episode, like I said, we're going to talk about the NBA Finals. NBA Finals will be held this Thursday. I think home court advantage goes to, home court advantage goes to Boston. They are the number one team. It is the Boston Celtics versus the Dallas Mavericks. Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, Porzingis, My Little Pony, and a whole cast of others. Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard. Those are the notable names for Boston. And for the Dallas Mavericks, you have Luka the Dawn, Kyrie Irving, GJJ, Derrick Jones Jr., Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, Josh Green, and Tim Hardaway Jr. And the Dallas Mavericks are coached by my all-time favorite, Jason Kidd. And the Celtics are coached by, I forgot his name. Hold on. It's on the tip of my tongue, and it's just like, wait, why don't I know this? And I'm gonna kick myself after knowing who it is. Joe Mazzulla. I'm wildin', man. I'm sorry, guys. Joe Mazzulla is the head coach for the Boston Celtics. I apologize. But yeah, so it's gonna be a lot. I honestly think that it's gonna be Dallas in 6. I love Jaylen Brown. I think Jason Tatum is a really good player. He's a star. He's a star. I wouldn't call him a superstar yet, but he's a star. So I feel like, so this is what I think the matchups will be. Drew Holiday will probably be checking Kyrie, with Jaylen Brown checking Luka the Dawn. That will allow Jason Tatum to roam free, pretty much playing Derrick Jones Jr. But he has to stay close to Derrick Jones Jr. because Derrick Jones Jr., he can definitely hit that corner 3. Al Horford will probably be checking. Well, it all depends on if Porzingis is playing, because Porzingis has been out for quite a while. But if he does play game 1, he'll probably guard Derek Lively or Gafford, whoever's going to start. And it's going to leave Derek White. Oh, but Derek White will probably see this Boston team, man. They got some people, bro. Their starting lineup is Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Porzingis, or Al Horford. They can run multiple defenders at them because Derek White is a very good defender. Obviously, we know Drew Holiday is as well. So you could possibly just put the 2 of those on them, but then also mix and match because you want to have Kyrie and Luka seeing as many different bodies as possible. You don't want them to get comfortable just seeing one person or one defender. So they'll probably switch it up between the 4 of them amongst the 2 of them. And that'll be a good game plan. And I'm not trying to give Joe Mazzulla the game plan to beat Jason Kidd, because Jason Kidd is my favorite player. I play ball and I mimic my entire game off of him. So that's why it's like I want to see J Kidd and the Dallas Mavericks win. I have a J Kidd jersey. I meant to put it on, but the old school jersey too. I meant to put it on, but it's like whatever. Let's shout out Shots by Pat. Let's push that out there, right? My photography company, Shots by Pat. Go watch. Anyway, I want to say that I want to say Dallas in 6 though, because Luka is on 1. I'm not a fan of everyone saying that he's better than Jokic right now, because he's not. Yes, he's the one playing in the finals. Jokic was just there last year, but Jokic just won his MVP. I'm sorry. The MVP is for the best player in the league, for the most part. So, for the fact that it is Jokic right now that has the MVP, Luka is not the best player, but I love Luka the Dawn. He's one of my favorite players in the league right now. And I feel like Luka is on one right now. He's really on one. He's letting the world know that, yo, I'm here. You all want to crown everybody else as the face of the franchise, face of the NBA, like Anthony Edwards and SGA. All these players are great. These are great young players. But Luka is on a whole different level right now. He's on a different stream of things. And I really like him to be the one to win, hopefully get Dallas to win that championship. My key factors for both teams. Key factors for the Boston Celtics will be Derek White, how well he plays. A lot of people are going to say it's Porzingis if he comes back, but you can't bank on him. Well, you know what? Because Dallas's key factor is about a player that needs to come back as well. So, matter of fact, I'll go backtrack. Yes, Porzingis is the key factor for Boston. If he can play, he will be that stretch big that will leave the paint wide open for the slashes of Tatum and Jaylen Brown, along with Derek White and everybody else that's going to probably stretch, splash to the lane, because Porzingis will draw out Gafford and will draw out Lively. Those are two big bodies that are blocking shots these days, and you want that big body to pull your bigs from out of the paint, which is why I'm not mad at Cat for not playing in the paint, but when he draws them out and people think that they got an open roam, you still got Gobert to deal with. So I understand why Cat does that. But in today's NBA, with that stretch big, and you have that stretch big that's pulling your other big from out, it leaves wide open lanes, well, not wide open, but wide enough open lanes to get to the basket without a premier defender there. So I say Porzingis is a key factor for Boston. The key factor for Dallas is Tim Hardaway Jr. He got injured earlier in the playoffs, and he tried to come back, but he wasn't effective. If he can play, he's going to be that key factor off their bench because he can light it up. He'll give you 18 points per game. He's not playing right now. I don't know if he fell out of rotation because of the injury. Much like when a football player, quarterback, he gets injured and the backup comes in and they play well and the starter doesn't get the job back. Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady. But it's like Tim Hardaway Jr., if he can get his act together, if he can really get back into playing, he can be that X factor because there's nobody on that bench, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, that could guard Tim Hardaway Jr. Obviously, if they can do their rotations, in which Derek White or Drew Holiday could be on the bench, and not on the bench, but rotate, and they'll have one of them guarding him once the second unit comes in. But if not, or even if they do that though, Tim Hardaway Jr. is still an explosive scorer. He's still relatively young. He's like 31, 32, and can still light up the scoreboard. So it'll be so dope to see what they do going forward with them. So I'm going to break it down into, I already gave the key factor, now I'm going to break it down by position, who wins each position, who has the better bench, who has the better coach, things like that. So for point guard, Luka Doncic versus Drew Holiday. Obviously, Drew Holiday is no slouch, but the better point guard in this matchup is Luka Doncic. Drew Holiday is not known for his offense anymore. He can still give you 15 to 20 points on a really good night, but he focuses primarily on defense because he has too many scorers around him. He's an elite defender, but Luke is an elite scorer, and I think he's more of an elite scorer than Drew Holiday is an elite defender. So I'm going Luka Doncic at point guard. Shooting guard, Kyrie versus Derek White. Obviously, the nod goes to Kyrie for the same factors as to the point guard matchup. Kyrie Irving has too much in his bag, as the kids like to call it, and so now he's able to get anything he wants at any given moment. He didn't play great towards the last few games in Dallas, but we all know that he can erupt. The last game he scored 31 and Luka scored 33, but we all know that these two players can erupt for 40 at any given moment. So the point guard, the backcourt goes to Dallas. Now for the small forwards, we have Jaylen Brown versus Derrick Jones Jr. Obviously, the edge goes to Jaylen Brown over Derrick Jones Jr. Jaylen Brown is an all-star, one of the top 20 to 25 players in this league. Unfortunately, Derrick Jones Jr. is a very good player, but he's not quite on that level. Derrick Jones Jr. is a very good defender, athletic dude, and he's known to play very well in certain moments. He can hit that corner three, as I previously mentioned. But when you're talking about small forward, you're going to go with Jaylen Brown because he is who he is. Jaylen Brown, the Eastern Conference Finals champion, award winner for them beating Indiana. I'm not going to talk about that Pacers series, though. Pacers should have won, but it is what it is. So, power forward, we're going to go with Jason Tatum versus P.J. Brown. P.J. Washington. I said P.J. Brown. P.J. Washington. Obviously, we're going to go with Tatum. Tatum is, again, one of the best players in the league, all-star, one of the faces of the league. Washington is not even close to it. Very good power forward, but he's nowhere close to that. So don't need to really go into too much. The edge goes to Boston for the power forwards, for your forwards. Now for your centers. It all depends on who starts. So if Porzingis starts, then Porzingis gets the edge over Daniel Gafford. If Al Horford has to start and Porzingis is not back yet, the edge has to go to Al Horford. Gafford is your starting center, but he's not to the caliber of Al Horford or even Porzingis. Gafford he catches the ball, rolls to the basket, rolls to the basket for dunks and lobs and things like that, but he's not going to beat you one-on-one. He doesn't even have a jump shot compatible enough to go against Al Horford. Al Horford is a stretch big, so is Porzingis. So that alone goes to the center. You can say it's a toss-up but Derek Lively is not starting. Gafford is, and even if Derek Lively is starting, then you give the edge to Derek Lively over Horford, but not over Porzingis. And that's just what it is. You can't. The two of those two factors is too big to overcome for Dallas, though. The bench goes to Dallas. Because you have Lively and Josh Green coming off your bench, as well as Hardy. Hardy took the minutes of Tim Hardaway Jr., and Hardy has been playing. But if you can if Tim Hardaway Jr. plays along with Hardy, then you have a really good bench. The bench for Boston would be Al Horford if Porzingis is starting, along with Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser. You have Luke Cornett on there as well, but he's not going to get many minutes, but he is a factor if he does play. But the bench role goes to Dallas. Coaching, Joe Mazzulla or Jason Kidd. I'm going Jason Kidd. And it's not a biased pick. It's not a homer pick. It's straight up. I'm going Jason Kidd because it just shows that he's done more things with his team than Joe Mazzulla has done with that team. That Boston Celtics team can get very tight. And I said that if Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics did not win against Indiana in the Eastern Conference Finals, Mazzulla was getting fired. Now I have my neighbors saying that he'll get fired if they don't win the finals, but I can't see him getting fired if they don't win the finals. But on the flip side, Dallas Mavericks are not firing Jason Kidd no matter what. He just signed an extension. Listen, Jason Kidd has tempered the egos of Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving very well at that, and he bought players that were in the doldrums, such as PJ Washington and Gafford, who played on teams that weren't going anywhere. He got them to their team, and they're playing very well. Listen, Gafford came from the Bulls. Then we traded him to Washington. Washington came from Charlotte, then got traded for Grant Williams. Grant Williams get a ring too, which is crazy. It's wild to me that Grant Williams will get a ring if Dallas wins. He won't get it if Boston wins, though, because he didn't play with them this year. Edge goes to Dallas as far as coaching is concerned. Now, one of the major factors is crowd, the electricity of your fans. And I want to say home court advantage will go to Boston. They are a title town. They are a major franchise. Dallas has a great fan base, but they're not as, to Boston because they're used to winning. They're known for winning championships. They are only behind the Lakers with the most championship wins in NBA history. So the edge goes to Boston when it comes to coaching. When it comes to home court advantage. So with all that being said, though, I really do believe that the Dallas Mavericks can win in 6 because I think that Kyrie and Luka are too much to handle, or more of a headache to deal with at the guard position than Tatum and Brown to deal with at the forward position. But it's a toss-up. It's honestly a toss-up between both the guard backcourt or the forwards. And we've seen Tatum and Brown light it up multiple times, but we've also seen Luka and Kyrie light it up multiple times. So the only way to find out how true my prediction is, Dallas Mavericks in 6 and everything, all of the facts that I gave, is to tune into the NBA Finals on Thursday. Now, before I end this episode, before I put a bow on this episode, I just want to say one thing. If you have been living under a rock, inside the NBA will be closing its doors after next season. A lot of players, a lot of media personality, a lot of fans are just upset. And the reason why they're closing its doors is because NBC, Amazon, and all that whole conglomerate purchased the NBA rights, no longer having the games on TNT. That right there burns. But I have an idea. Now, it may not be the same as being on Turner, but NBA still is the NBA, and they have NBA TV. See where I'm going here? How about inside the NBA now comes to NBA TV? Now, NBA TV has their whole thing that they do, but if Charles Barkley can buy the rights of Inside the NBA from TNT and then sell it to the NBA could then have Inside the NBA on the NBA channel. Get the same people. Maybe they'll probably have to redo the set because it'll no longer be a TNT set. But it'll be dope. And one of the parameters, because Charles Barkley did say that the morale in the office and in the studio is very low because people depend on that job, and with NBA TV, with TNT selling their rights. Well, not TNT selling their rights, but NBA selling their rights to the media to NBC, and for $2.6 billion. Charles Barkley said that whoever did that deal, they messed up. Inside the NBA has 18 Emmys and has been part of the NBA for the past 40 years, and Ernie Johnson is grandfathered in as he's one of us. And if you don't know what one of us means, then I ain't got nothing to tell you. But he's one of us. He's definitely invited to the picnic, to the cookout. That's the social media thing right there, folks. But definitely though, that's my idea though. NBA TV gets the rights for Inside the NBA once Charles Barkley buys them, or Charles and Shaq buy them, because I think those two, I know for sure Shaq has the most money on that whole panel. But if the two of them put their bread together, if all four of them put their bread together, sell the rights to NBA TV, and they are able to do Inside the NBA on the NBA channel, that would be a fire thing to do. And that's an idea. So with that said, I'm going to put a bow in this episode. Happy Sunday afternoon to you guys. Hope you guys loved the episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification button for those who are on YouTube. And for those who are in podcast land, as always, this is your boy Sneakerhead NY. Yo, E behind the boards. Fade us out. Peace.